Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. A very wintry, magical morning to you all, wherever you are. You might have lots of snow. I've got a little bit with lots of ice, but it is really cold. Today we're going to do a standing Pilates class, 30 minutes standing. This is really good, something a little bit different. We've done a few seated ones and a few lying ones, so now I thought we'd mix it up and do a standing class. So all you need is yourself and some space. If you do struggle with your balance, then you can use a wall or a chair or something secure, and that will really help you as well. So don't worry if you feel like you're going to be wobbly. I will tell you as well, like, your perfect posture standing up. So it's a really good way to keep yourself in check and alignment with your body. So let's get started. We're going to start, excuse my fluffy socks. It's too cold to not wear fluffy socks, isn't it? So whether you're in your slippers or your fluffy socks, let's go. So you're going to start with your feet together. I've still got this lovely cold. And then push your heels out and your toes forward. And this is actually hip width apart. A lot of people think this is hip width apart, but your hips are not this wide, okay? So here, heels out, toes forward, and that's it. It's a very simple way, but you want to make sure your ankles are in line with your knees and then in line with your hips. That's the most important thing. And then you want to keep your knees soft. We never want to lock the knees back because this can put pressure on our knee joint. And as well, I'm going to tell you a little thing that might be of interest to you. So sometimes the way we walk, we walk like this probably our entire lives, and some people put, it's quite dark in here, some people put a lot of weight into the back of their heel, which means that when they walk, they kind of walk into their lower back, and that can cause sort of back problems, shoulder problems even, or sometimes you might find you walk more into your toes. That's a very common issue for on heels a lot throughout your life. So be very wary of that. So one way we can kind of override that is just to come back and forth, roll back and forth onto the toes and then the heels. And you're going to feel like your core is warming up slightly. Back and forth. And then you want that to get smaller and smaller. And then you want to feel like you've got 50% of the weight in your toes and 50% of the weight in your heels. And that just really helps to make sure that your weight is evenly distributed, okay? So now you've got that, try and imagine that and ground your feet into the floor. And then we've got the pelvis. So I will go over this because this is a very common thing that a lot of people say. They struggle to get hold of this information. And when I first started teaching, this took me a month to understand in my brain. So what you want to do, if you tuck your pelvis and you stand like this, which probably more of us do this than anything else because it's comfortable. You might be talking to a friend or just waiting. If you smoke, this is also quite a normal stance as well, so sort of push into your lower back. And all these things can affect our posture. So when we tuck the pelvis under, we are standing like this. I call this the Mr. Bean. And then, but if you take your fingers, so if you really squeeze together, imagine that your thighs are powering forward, take your fingers underneath your hips and push back, you're going to lift up nice and tall. And you'll have no choice but to extend your spine. So if we tuck under, and then push back, and then tuck under. So this is actually a really nice way to relax your lower back. If you've got any lower back injuries, just by doing this a few times can really, really help. So a lot of people naturally stand like this, and therefore they need to practice that perfect posture. But sometimes some people have a larger curve in their back, which means that their glutes stick out more. So the way in which you need to reverse that is to tuck under and release that pressure, because every so often you might find your back hurts, and that is simply because your spine is like this. So imagine that's your back, that's your lower back going into your glutes. It's like that. all the time. So we need to stretch it to release it. But you can do this at any point throughout the day. This one little thing, I would say, is probably the easiest, quickest, simplest, most subtle thing you can do to really alleviate lower back pain, okay? So always practice that. So now you've got your pelvis correctly. So that's a halfway mark between standing like Mr. Bean and standing like Kim Kardashian. You want somewhere in between. So you want to just feel that nice neutral back. And it might feel a bit uncomfortable at first, because if you've been standing like Mr. Bean and then all of a sudden you have to stand upright, you might feel like you're actually standing like this, but I can assure you not. It's just your muscle memory being a little bit confused. Right, so now I've got the lower part of the body sorted. Now with the upper body, you want to imagine that you've got a string from the crown of your head lifting all the way up towards the ceiling, and that is how you stand. That is, your shoulders are down, your chest is back, your core slightly engaged, and that is your perfect posture. If people remember that and practice it every single day, you're going to be fine, I promise. So just relax your fingers now and just stand, have your chin parallel to the floor, and this is how you should stand all the time, whether you're washing up, whether you're standing talking to a friend, waiting for a bus. This is how you should always stand. Now, you might find that you feel like you're leaning over to one side, and that's because we always have one side that is stronger. The one side that is more flexible and more dominant than the other. So if you, excuse me, if you notice that, just imagine that your back is nice and straight and your hips are even, okay? Now what we're going to do is just relax the shoulders. So usually, again, through life, our shoulders rise and it's kind of really common to feel like this. You want to push down. You want to push your shoulders away from your ears so you feel a really nice stretch. Again, very common cause of headaches and tension within the jaw and the face is because of our shoulders are so tight. So push them down and then just breathe in and breathe out. Just tilt your ear to one shoulder. And don't forget all these exercises that I'm giving you today, little, big, the bigger ones and the smaller ones, they can be done anywhere because you're standing. If you're standing, you can do them. You can do this sat down as well, this one. But it's just to help you understand how your shoulders work. So just allow them to relax. And now we're going to look down towards the floor. Chin is never parallel towards the chest. Never touching the chest. It's just parallel. And lift back up. Excuse me. And come up. And just keep doing this. And let's do 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. And look forward. And then roll the shoulders forward and back. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just have the hands down by your side. Imagine someone's holding your hips and you're going to just lean, just so you feel a slight pull on one side. And just gently tilt. And let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm so sorry about me coughing. It's terrible. I'm just going to have a quick sip of tea. If you've got a cup of tea or hot chocolate, enjoy me and have a sip. All right, so that's the upper body a bit more relaxed now. You're going to take your hands to your hips and you're going to move your waist. So you're not going to turn your whole body like this from your waist. So drop your shoulders and you're just going to turn so you can feel it down the side and come back in. Good. Just keep going. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So that's the side of the body warmed up now. And now what you're going to do is have the feet hip width apart, and you're going to just stretch out the back of the leg. So just toes going up towards the ceiling, left knee bends slightly. Come back in. Stretch out. Just keep switching. This is a great way to release tight legs. A really great way, because what can happen is, whilst you're doing them, I'm going to talk you through it. This muscle here, the calf muscle, it's quite small and it can hold a lot of tension if you are walking a lot, wearing heels, if you run a lot, do a lot of exercise. So what can happen is if you don't stretch that muscle out, all the muscles in the back of the leg then get tighter and tighter as well. And actually it's very common to have back pain because of tight calves. So stretch these out will really help your body. Last one. Good. Okay. Before we do anything else, let's just do a Pilates roll down. It's a really nice, relaxing exercise. So have your hands by your side, as your back might be feeling a bit sore now. You've been standing so perfectly for so long. And then inhale, nod, and then exhale, round down, bend knees, let the head shake. And then gently roll. And again, inhale, nod. Now really bend the knees so you feel this in the back and not the legs. And then roll up. Good. Okay. Just have another quick sip of tea to clear my throat. Okay, then the lower body. So again, if you just need to realign the feet, heels out, toes forward. And before we start, I want you just to lift one heel up and down off the floor. That's all you've got to do. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now what you're going to do is hands down by your side. You're going to lift the heels off the floor and then lower back down. You can hold on to something if you need to. Make this harder. You can lift your arms up as you do it, but just keep the chin down, keep the spine long. Good. And again, lift. Good. 4. 3. Keep it nice and strong. 2. And 1. And lower. Good. Okay. Have the feet hip width apart again. And then what you're going to do now is you're going to keep your pelvis still. So it doesn't mean that we're standing like this because we're getting lazy. No, we're nice and tall. Take your hands on top of one another. Not too high, probably just hip width, hip height. And then you're just going to lift your leg up. So we'll do 10 on one side and then switch. And you want to do this really slow and really controlled. Because what we're doing is working into the core whilst we're standing up. This is also really good for your hips. If you need to hold on, obviously, please do. Excuse me. But try and keep your chest down, shoulders down, chin is parallel. Let's do 2. And 1. Good. And then relax. Just shake off your legs. You might have felt that a little bit here in the front of the thigh and the hip. That's totally normal. You didn't want to feel it in your back. So if you felt any lower back pain when you did that one, you might need to just do a few pelvic tilts like we did right at the start, where we stand like Mr. Bean and then Kim Kardashian, and that will just help release that area. Okay, let's move on to the other side. So feet are hip width, spine is nice and tall, and then you're going to lift and lower back down. So keep the hips really still. If you're also wobbling, you want to try not holding on, you can stare at a point in front of you that's not moving. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And release. Just give those legs a little shake off, because you would have felt that in all the legs and a little bit in your tummy, but that is how your core works. Your core is always stabilizing yourself, always. Come back to that feet hip width apart position. Have the hands down by your sides. Just checking the time. Okay, and then you're going to bend the knee. So sorry. Bend your knees, hands on your hips, and you're just going to stretch that right leg out and then bring it back in. So this is good for the sides of the body. If you want to, you don't let the foot touch the floor on the way out. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then other side. Knees are bent. Nice tall spine. Inhale. Exhale out. And come back in. Drop the shoulders. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Good. Give the legs a good little shake out. Let's come back to a roll down. So feet hip width. Drop the shoulders. Inhale, nod. Exhale, round. Let the head drop. and then roll up. And again, one more time. Nod. And roll up. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to do is come into Pilates squats. Pilates squats are the best, I would say, at strengthening your knees. So if you get really bad knees, this is a good one to do. It's very important at the position of your feet. Now, if you have got a sort of an imbalance, as everybody has, for example, some people have sort of tighter imbalances in their glutes and their hips, and that makes their feet turn out to the side slightly. So what I want you to do is come back to that start position, have the feet together and the heels out and the toes forward, and then you're going to just relax your knees. Okay, so you're going to look straight forward, you're going to drop your shoulders, and then you're going to bend the knees and then squeeze back up. So if you look down now you've done a few, check the position of your feet, make sure they're forward. And make sure that your back is straight. And you'll feel it in your shins and your knees. Let's do 3. Keep the back straight, so it's like you're just sitting on a chair. 2. And 1. Good, and then release. Release the feet. Wonderful, let's have a little shake off and let's come back to that roll down. So nod your chin, bend those knees, let the head shake, let the arms go nice and floppy, and just hold it here, bend those knees. Then roll up. Wonderful. Okay, we've got a few minutes left. So now what you're going to do, you're going to have some nice deep stretches. That 5 minutes you can do anywhere, all right? So first things first, you're going to take your left foot forward and you're going to bend your right knee and straighten out this left leg. And then hands on that right thigh and then toes go up towards the ceiling. Now you want to feel this all pulling behind the back of the knee into the thigh. And then gently stand up. Okay, this is going to be quite an intense stretch. So go really easy and make sure you hold on to something if you need to. I need you to bend both knees. We're going to roll down slightly. Then you're going to take your hands to your shin and you're going to inhale and then exhale. You're going to straighten that left leg and your eyes are going to look towards your knee. And then bend the knees and roll up. Good. Stretch the right leg out and then inhale, exhale, stretch that right leg out, toes up towards the ceiling. and gently come up. Bend both knees, little mini roll down, inhale. Exhale, straighten that right leg. Imagine you're trying to hug that leg in. If you can get your face towards your thigh, 10 house points for you, because this is incredibly tough to do and I don't recommend you trying it. Just so you can feel a good stretch will do. Bend knees and then roll up. Good, wonderful. Okay, now what we're going to do, again, hold on. You want your feet hip width apart. You're going to bring that right foot back. Inhale, and then exhale, you're going to pull. So you feel that stretch at the front of the right thigh. And then relax. Good, give your legs a little shake. Other side. Bend that right knee back. Keep the knees together. Inhale. Exhale, pull. Hold on if you need to. But again, this is a good way to test your balance and your core strength. So remember, if you haven't got that much balance, don't worry, you just need to build up the core. Because if you've got a strong core, you should be able to do most balancing exercises. Unless you've got tight muscles, of course, which might affect it. And then release. Good. Okay, take the feet out now a little bit wider. And then turn the toes out slightly. And this will help just to secure you down. Then your hands on top of one another. You're going to inhale and exhale. Place the hands to the floor and let the head shake. And feel that stretch in the inner thighs and the backs of the legs. And bend the knees and roll. And then come back in. Fabulous. And the last one we're going to do, just watch me first. You're going to come down, then you're going to let the arms swing back and forth and really let your arms be nice and heavy. Allow your shoulders to relax, because this is a really good one to release tension. As a Pilates teacher about 5 years now, people always come to me and say, my shoulders are so tight, I get headaches. And this is a really nice way just to soothe it off. So have your feet hip width apart. Inhale, nod. Bend those knees. Let the head shake. And then just bring the arms back and forth. Three, two, one. Roll up. Wonderful, and thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed that. Remember, you can come back to this video at any time, and even if you did first 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, it will just help you to align your body and make it feel nice and balanced. Have a great week, keep nice and warm, and I'll see you next Monday. Take care, bye-bye.